Our next guest, of course, is a Baltimore Raven, and he is doing something incredible for this community as well. As on July 6th, he is hosting a football camp at Dunbar. And we are going to catch up right now with our buddy Arthur Maulet, who's back with us here on GCR. Arthur, it's Glenn. It's great to chat with you as always, brother. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning.
What's up, man? Good morning, man. Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
It's always good to chat with you. And we were just talking with Adam Newman, chief of staff, obviously, for the Baltimore Ravens. And I was telling, I know, like, you are not. It's funny because when we talk about what happened in the AFC Championship game, I always feel like there's two ways for people to look at it. Like, you just forget about it, you try to pretend like it never happened, you move on, new team, or you try to use it as fuel. And it feels like in chatting with you, you're the guy that's saying, hell, we're going to use that as fuel. We don't ever want to have that happen again.
No, for sure, yeah. That's how I'm using it, man. And like I was on a talk show yesterday, and I was just telling them how, I still got a sour taste in my mouth, man. So I'm just trying to work my butt off, and obviously it's good that we get to play them the first game of the season. So, we can duke it out again.
Yeah, man, that's the way it goes, right? Like, let's
Yeah,
get after it. Let's get after it, and maybe that
100%.
maybe they'll have some things to say before the game again, and you can.
I will hope not this time. I
um,
will hope not.
Arthur, for people that don't know, so the camp is next Saturday, and we're also going to link it up on our Twitter account at Glenn Clark Radio for people to check it out. You have
Right.
talked openly about your background in New Orleans and how you found a home, and things are so similar now for you here in Baltimore. For people that haven't heard that part of the story, can you remind them of why this is so personal to you and why it was so important, not just that you do something like this, but specifically at Dunbar?
Dunbar is an inner city school, I'm an inner city kid from New Orleans, and like I was saying to a couple people out in Baltimore, I was just telling them like, man, the cities are so similar, man. As far as just inner city struggles and not having opportunities for these kids, and not having camps because people don't make it that far like that. So, I'm just trying to motivate the city, man, motivate the kids, and just show them that I was in your same position. They're probably gonna be better off than me because I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was small, I never went to NFL guys football camp. I didn't even start playing football until my last year of high school. So, I just want to just show those guys that, if most of the time, like, how can I explain it? For me, I had to see an NFL guy to motivate me to be able to play in the league, to kind of get the motivation. So I just want them to see it. Sometimes kids have to see it in front of them to believe it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm just trying to do. Just each one teach one, man, and make a difference in these children's lives.
No, it's powerful, man. And I think it's particularly powerful that you talk about, like, when I hear you talk about Baltimore as finding home at this point and the connections and the parallels between our city and New Orleans, which, by the way, is one of my favorite, like, it's my favorite American city, frankly. Like, I try to go,
Right.
I try to go once a year. That's how much I love New Orleans. But
No, yeah, man.
it's really powerful that you've made that significant of a connection in that short of a time. And I just wonder, like, when you arrived here, did you have any feeling that, like, hey, this could be my home, or was it more like, all right, man, I'm gonna go try it. I'm gonna go show what I can. Like, what was the feeling when you got here last summer about what this was going to be for you, and how much that has grown in the span of just 1 year?
Bro, it's insane how much it's grown in the span of 1 year. I couldn't even imagine all of the opportunities that the city has given me already within just 1 year. And I just feel like I played good football last year, but I got a lot more to prove. And this is my second year. I'm more comfortable in the scheme, and I'm gonna be able to really help out this team. And with that being said, I'll be able to help out the city as well, because when we're successful, the city is thriving as well. The crime rates is down, and the people are happy to have something to cheer for at least one day out of the week, right? Um, and also, like, when I came in, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's so funny. I told my agent I don't want to take any interviews. I don't want to do any of that because I'm coming to the Baltimore Ravens,
Wow.
which is a nasty defense, which is a really good team. You have to be on your P's and Q's or you will not be playing for the Baltimore Ravens. So I had so much respect. Obviously, I was coming from the other side, and I'm
Yep.
glad I'm on this side now, and I love it here way more than there.
Yeah.
But, um, I had just had so much respect, bro, and I just wanted to come in and just kind of prove to, my teammates, the coaches, and the city that, you're not getting a guy that's going to waste their time, and like I just made an extension for 2 years. I want to make sure that they got their money worth and more this year, and the city, um, appreciates what I'm doing for them. So I just want to be able to just, man, like sometimes I've just lost for words, bro, because honestly, people don't know. Like I left Pittsburgh, and they cut me when everybody had their roster. I didn't know where I was going to be. I was just training, obviously just waiting on a call, and Harbaugh calls me, and they give me something guaranteed. They give me an opportunity to be a good player and can use me in a great scheme. So it's just like for me to start like that and it get extended and be able to make a name for myself and help a team out and be a kind of a key piece a little bit, man, that's just a blessing, bro.
So cool to hear you talk about it, man. That's so cool. The 2024 Morgan & Morgan presents the Arthur Maulet Foundation Youth Football Camp next Saturday, July 6th at Dunbar. Registration begins at 8 a.m. Camp activities start at 9. And if you have questions about the event, you can email austin@milkhoneysports.com. But we're going to link up a place for you to go to sign up. And as we've been pointed out, there are very few spots left because this
Yeah,
is
man,
supposed to
very
be.
few.
And but I appreciate that. Like I think I saw you're limited to like 150 because you still want this to be a personal thing. You don't want this to just be like a.
Yeah, for me, like I want to be able to go to every group and coach these guys because at the end of the day, football is a hard sport, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. They're inner city kids, so they're already tough. So I don't have to really sugarcoat anything. I can honestly tell them the truth and tell them what they need to expect if they want to get to the highest level in their life in this game of football, right? Like that's the biggest thing with me. Like I want to impact them and show them that if you really want to do this, you have to work your butt off. It's not all about the biggest thing that I've tried to reach out to the kids and tell them is like, don't look at social media, bro. Like no one's gonna post anything bad on social media. They look at it and think that it's, they want instant gratification for their hard work when, working hard is the normality in the football world and just in the regular world in general. So I just want to be able to push those kids and kind of give them kind of like love and discipline and show them that, if you really want to do this, you got to work your butt off and you're going to be held accountable in the real world and on the football field. So, just trying to help them out and just show them what's real, and not what's fake.
I'm going to ask this question. I know that part of it is like God-given ability. I understand that. But how you were talking about kids and trying to have the opportunity to beat the odds. Knowing where
Right.
you are now and looking back on your path to this point, is there any one factor that was most significant for you in your own ability to beat the odds and get to a place where here you are in your 30s playing at the highest level still and being a significant contributor to a really good football team?
Honestly, bro, it's just my work ethic. Honestly, like no, I put my hat on just like nobody's gonna work harder than me. It's not that I'm just working crazy and not working smart. It's just that for me, man, like when I was undrafted and I went to New Orleans and it was my first year in the league, someone told me it's not about how hard you work, it's how smart you work. And I kinda always like was in the back of my head. And I was just my biggest critic. I never was a guy that kind of like, oh well, I was all right there. That's fine. I'll just nah. Like I was my biggest critic. I was real about everything. If I sucked that day, I freaking sucked. If I was mediocre that day, I was mediocre. Like no one would have to tell me that. A coach wouldn't have to tell me that. My friends wouldn't have to tell. No one would have to tell me that. And I think that's what it is. Just my hard work and being my biggest critic. Like everybody says that, but they kind of still look for a pat on the back. Like I don't look to pat myself on the back at all. Like if I suck, I suck. It's just that simple, And people say, "Oh, you're too hard on yourself," but shit, when you're trying to make a roster, then
Yeah, right.
I'll rather myself be hard on myself and tell myself the truth than lie to myself and and not be successful in at my job.
I'm going to ask you this question. There's been a lot made about the future of like OTAs in the NFL, and the Players Association and I think a lot of people believe it's in part like this is ultimately there's going to be an 18 game schedule, and so the Players Association has kind of pushed the idea of no more OTAs. Instead, let's do a ramp up. Let's go in for like 3 weeks before training camp starts. You're someone who had to prove themselves in like every practice and every game. Does that like? Do you worry at all about like what that might mean for someone else that's in your shoes in the future?
As far as like not having OTAs,
Yeah, not having as many of those opportunities.
um, honestly, man, I'll give you two examples. Like,
Okay.
okay, so I'm a vet now, right?
Yep.
I'm going into year 8. Like, for me, I don't need OTAs. I'm just being honest.
I
But I
believe
think if
that.
you're,
Right.
but I think if you're in your first 3 to 4 years, you're going to need OTAs. It's you know what I'm saying? Like, the game speed is so different. You're getting another extra opportunity before training camp, before mini camp to learn the playbook. Like, if you don't have that in the first 4 years, I don't think a lot of people are going to be successful, and I don't think a lot of people are going to like their draft picks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so if it's past year 4, they should have an opportunity to go or not to go. But if it's you 4 or below, I feel as though like they should definitely still have OTAs, like because the game is so fast from college to football. The checks are so different. The playbook's so much bigger. It's so much more that you have to think about in the NFL when you leave college to the pros. So I just think they should still keep it, man, regardless
I
of what's going
appreciate that
on.
answer, by the way, because like I feel I completely agree with you that like at this point, what in the world is the difference going to be made if you are running out there in April right now at this point in your
You
career?
feel me?
Yeah,
Like
right.
literally, like
I
what's the
the
difference, bro?
number
Y'all are thinking
the
too hard.
we get so bored and we need things to do. This is our side of the business that I know you're gonna end up learning more about. Like people get so
Right.
bored they try to turn these things into controversies, and I just can't play along
Hmm.
with it. Like I can't do it.
Right.
I can't play
Right.
along with the idea that it matters who's at OTAs and who isn't. I'm not capable of doing that. It does not matter. There is no correlation between who shows up at OTAs and who's going to win the Super Bowl at the end of the year.
Exactly, bro. It's literally no correlation at
Zero.
all.
None. There couldn't be less of a correlation.
Zero.
I heard something about you this year that here you are. You've been here for a year. You had to fight for your own way, and already you're kind of becoming like the old head. Like they're treating you like the guy that's got to be the one passing down the
Oh
wisdom.
man.
How much have you been having to take that role on of like, okay, now I got to help get these young bucks along in the process?
I mean, honestly, man, like I'm not a guy that um talks about it. I'm more of a doer,
Yeah.
at least by just how I work. And, if I see a guy slipping up, I might tell him something. But, at the end of the day, like if the young guys see a 30-year-old working hard and breaking faster than them or running more than them or doing all this, I expect them to compete with me and ultimately get better than me because at the end of the day, I'm a vet now. Like I'm grooming them to take my job. And, I didn't understand that until I got into this position. Vets used to tell me that like, yeah, I'm teaching you so you could take my job. But it's crazy that I'm just like, bro, whatever. Like, nah, it's not like that. But it really is. Like, and it should be like that. You know, um, and I think it's a blessing. It's pretty crazy, going into my second year on this team, and we got a lot of young guys in the secondary and on the team right now, and I'm a guy that's bounced around and been on different teams, and I just try to also tell them like, bro, like Baltimore Ravens, the facility, the coaching, the staff, the whole shebang is one of the best, honestly, that I've been a part. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just crazy. Like I tell a lot of people, like try to stay in Baltimore. You go to these other places, they're not going to treat you as good.
Wow.
So I just try to kind of like just be real with the young guys too, because it's like don't take any opportunity for granted because you love it here in Baltimore with the Baltimore Ravens, but you can be in Indiana with the Colts and hate it. You could be in New England with the Patriots and hate it because it's not the same. Like the coaches aren't the same. The culture isn't the same. So I just try to tell those guys just to take advantage of every opportunity they have.
I think there's I think every Ravens fan is like jumping up and down and listening to hearing you say those things. All right, what do we need to know about you? But besides football, right? Like I need to know like what give me, when you get away, what it is that you're doing? Like how do you decompress? All that stuff. Like what is Arthur Maulet all about away from football?
It's so funny, man. This I'm going into my 8th year. I never been out the country, bro. I never
Really?
took a break. I never took a break until this past off season. I literally just left the Bahamas probably like 2 weeks ago, and it was one of the most beautiful things in the world,
Oh,
man. I
that's
love
cool,
the
man.
ocean. And now I'm just like, man, I want to go back, but I'm just like, nah, it's time to get to work. But honestly, for me, man, I'm a big gamer. I like to just chill and game, and I listen to a lot of music, jazz music. I make beats a little bit, and that's really what I do to decompress. I kind of just stay out the way, man, and because like for me, like it's crazy, but I'm an older guy. My motto is football is all year round. I'm never have a break because these young guys are coming in like Wiggins running 4.2s trying to take me spots, and I'm still trying to play. So I'm just trying to keep up with the young guys, man. Like I, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm in the best position in the world, bro. I get to play a kid's game and get paid at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously it's a grown man game because we're professional athletes, but don't get me wrong. Like, I get to play a sport and make a living out of it. So it's like, man, my job's all year round.
Yeah.
I work out. I have fun working out. I have fun just being on the field chilling. Like, so it's like I'm just chilling, man. Like
That's
I'm in the
dope.
best position in life right now. I have no complaints, man.
That's dope, man. That is really, and that perspective is amazing. And I know that so much of that is all the work that you've had to go through in order to get to that place to be able to appreciate it the way that you do. Arthur
100%.
Maulet, next Saturday at Dunbar, July 6th. And again, we've linked up at Glenn Clark Radio. There's a link for you to go get sign up in. There ain't many spots left. So now you want your kids to be there, then you go sign up right now for Arthur Maulet, the Arthur Maulet Foundation Youth Football Camp next Saturday at Dunbar. Arthur, looking forward to chatting with you more frequently, man. Thank you for taking the time for us as always this morning, and thank you for the work that you are doing and the commitment that you are making to our city as well, brother.
I appreciate you for having me, man. Thank you, guys.
Arthur